Hey everyone, Leo Bond here. I'm back again today, and this time I've got something just a little bit different for us to take a look at. It's called the UFO Hand Spinner, and it's a fidget toy that people can use to deal with issues like nervousness and stress relief, or even with helping to improve our concentration, particularly for those that suffer from ADHD, that's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and even people with autism may potentially benefit from fidgeting. Now, this is essentially an EDC, or everyday carry item, that you can keep in your pocket and take everywhere you go. You break it out whenever you feel the need to fidget or pace or bite your fingernails or whatever it is that you happen to do to deal with nervousness or stress or whatever. And it seems that there are some really excellent health benefits, especially mental health benefits, from using a device like this. Now, the spinner that I have here was sent over to me by an Amazon Marketplace seller called Nikshop, so I'll provide a link to their product page in the description box below just in case you want to check it out. But anyway, this particular spinner features sturdy construction, high-speed ceramic bearings, and it even comes with a free ebook that is simply packed with interesting facts and tidbits on the benefits of fidgeting. It's not an overly long book, I think maybe 28 pages, about 4 chapters, but it does have heaps of useful and really just fascinating information in it, and I will be dispensing several of its key facts as we continue throughout the review. Anyway, let's get started taking a closer look at the UFO Hand Spinner and consider whether or not one of these fun little devices might be beneficial to you. So the first thing that we're going to cover is what all comes with this spinner, because there are actually 6 spare bearing covers. I'm not really sure what they're called, but I've been kind of thinking of them almost like little hubcaps. So you can put these caps on both sides of each bearing insert in the spinner, and all of those inserts are actually spinners themselves. So technically you could spin this thing from either the center or from one of the little extension arm bits there. Now, personally, I prefer to leave the caps off entirely and just save them as extras, for that middle bearing insert in case I ever lose or break one or both of the center caps. Now, as for the weight of this thing, it is 53 grams, as you can see by my little kitchen scale there, and that's without the little caps attached, and I have to say that it just feels right in the hand. In other words, I think it's pretty much the ideal weight, and not just for spinning and fidgeting with, but also for carrying around in your pocket. Since I received it, I've basically been taking it with me everywhere I go. I just keep it in my left jacket pocket, and to be honest, I barely even know that it's there, so it's definitely not a burden to carry around. You may be wondering just how long this thing can freely spin for without stopping. Well, I conducted a little experiment to test that out, and I'll just show the footage of that test in the upper corner of the screen as we continue along here, and you can see that once I gave it a couple of good swipes to get it going real fast, it then continued to spin for just over 2 full minutes without any additional help or boosts or anything like that. So keep an eye on it up there and time it out for yourself if you like, and I think that you'll be just as impressed with the UFO's spinning capabilities as I was. Now, as you may have noticed, there are many different ways to play with the UFO Hand Spinner, but what I want to do right now is take a little bit of time and talk about some of the benefits of fidgeting. And fidgeting is defined in the included ebook, which is called Rethinking Fidgeting, as the act of moving about restlessly. So it could include things like twirling your hair, clicking a pin, bouncing your knee, or even things like pacing and biting your fingernails. And these habits can be caused by nervousness, boredom, agitation, or they could even be genetic. As for myself, well, I'm a big fidgeter from way back, especially during big games in the Stanley Cup playoffs when I practically pace a hole in the floor, and I've even been known to wreck my fingernails on more than one occasion, so I know plenty about fidgeting. But one thing that I didn't know until just recently is that fidgeting might actually be good for me. Now, I'm not talking about gnawing your fingernails into oblivion, but studies have shown that kids, when allowed to fidget with their hands, have actually experienced memory improvement, and they've even performed better on tests. Now, most people are probably well aware that adults discourage fidgeting in their kids. They'll say things like sit still or settle down. I bet most of us fidgeters have experienced that sort of thing a few times. But anyway, maybe our parents were actually doing us a disservice in telling us to stop our fidgeting, because as it turns out, fidgeting actually brings about a reduction in the body's level of the stress hormone cortisol, and that hormone, which increases during periods of stress and tension, can also interfere with our ability to focus and therefore to learn. Now, I don't know a whole heck of a lot about cortisol, but one thing that I do know is that increased cortisol levels also bring about an increase in our insulin, which in turn lowers our blood sugar, and suddenly we start to crave junk foods, especially sugary foods. So increased cortisol levels can actually affect our weight. It's no secret that many of us go straight for our favorite comfort foods when we get stressed out, and rarely are those foods healthy choices. It's usually fatty and sugary things that we turn to, and I'm no stranger to this myself. I love my chocolate and candy. For me, candy makes up an entire food group. But anyway, as it turns out, fidgeting may in fact indirectly reduce our junk food cravings and thereby help to prevent weight gain. And of course, that is in addition to helping us focus and concentrate better on our studies, so it seems that there may be both physical and mental health benefits to fidgeting. So where does the UFO hand spinner enter into the equation? Well, many of our fidgeting habits tend to annoy the absolute heck out of other people, which is exactly why our parents always discouraged us from doing them in the first place. Just try clicking a pin repeatedly during a university class and see how far that gets you. But playing with the UFO hand spinner is a relatively quiet and inoffensive fidgeting activity, and you may well be able to use one of these spinners without really bothering other people all that much. You may even have an open-minded teacher or professor that knows the value of fidgeting, and they may let you use this thing during a class. In any case, I really think that the ebook Rethinking Fidgeting is a huge part of what sets this particular spinner apart from its competition. So I'm going to put the table of contents page up there so that you can get an idea of what all it covers and the value that it has. I think it makes this product a really great bundle and definitely worth taking a very solid look at. Now, if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please give it a like or a share, and do consider subscribing as well if you like this sort of content. By the way, it has to be said, I have no affiliation whatsoever with Nikshop from Amazon, aside from being asked to check out their product. In fact, up until recently, I wasn't even aware that such a thing existed. However, I'm always on the lookout for cool toys and gadgets to review here on the channel, so they sent over a sample, and I just happened to really like it a lot. It's a cool little spinner that's solidly built and heaps of fun to play with. It spins brilliantly and lasts for a good long time, and it's even got some really great health benefits for users, so what's not to love? Anyway, that's all I've got to say for now. This is Leo Bond, and as always, I just want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.